Alrighty, a little bit dark, gloomy morning, but today is an exciting morning because our propeller couplings, bronze cast couplings, have arrived. Well, they've been machined. So now we have a Cutlass bearing. This white thing in here is called Vesconite Hi-lube. It's a lubricating bearing for the propeller shaft with water. So there's little channels in there that water can come into the tube and circulate around the shaft, because stagnant salt water on a propeller shaft is not good, and it also aids cooling. So I'm going to attach these to the tube behind me here and hopefully slide the shaft in and then attempt to align the engine with the propeller shaft. I'm really unsure how this is going to go. I've never done it before, but there's a first time for everything in boat building, and this is the first time aligning a shaft. So let's hope it works. And then slot in there, and then I've got 2 bolts to go in there. Take this out. Slide that in. Spins nicely. Actually, I've got washers, don't I? Where did I put them? I highly doubt this is square and I can actually do that. I reckon I have to pack it, but okay, I've been doing some thinking about how to make this shaft align well, and I've been doing some playing inside. The good news is the engine beds are correct and the engine will align with the shaft, so my maths there was good and accurate. I need to get this tube bedded in. There's a big hole that I bored a long time ago. I've soaked that with epoxy, so if water does get in there, hopefully it cannot sort of work its way out and rot the boat, or wormies can't get in. What I'm going to do next is actually use Fixtech, so similar to Sikaflex, a flexible adhesive sealant around the tube, and then I'm going to create an epoxy gasket around the back edge of the coupling to go against the hull, so that everything's in line and it just stays like that. And then I'll repeat the process on the inside. It's just a lot of glue, so yeah, I'll just pump a heap of glue in there and put this in. I'm also going to thread this in. Thread this in with some Loctite. It's very shiny and looks nice. Never to be seen again. So Fixtech around the tube, and then epoxy sort of with filler powder as a gasket, and then that goes in. Loose plan. Flexible, a gasket, well, sort of plumber's bog, I guess you'd call it. Put this on. It's not pretty. It's going to go everywhere. Suck it in there. Yes. Now I need to pump it in there somehow. Now my gasket. Epoxy gasket. That'll do for now. I haven't put the bottom bolt in because I think it's a little bit skew width, so I'm going to re-drill that later and put that in later. That's my rough plan. Okay, that was one of the least glorifying and satisfying jobs I've had in a while. It was quite a gluey mess. The reason for the amount of glue and sort of the chaos was I really wanted to make sort of gaskets with epoxy on each end of the flanges so that it's really set in stone and can't move around because the faces are slightly out of square. It's going to work fine, I believe. I've spent a fair bit of time really just tweaking it to the right spot and rotating the propeller shaft to feel any tight points. and there's a slight tight point on sort of like a quarter of an angle of a rotation that gets a bit tight, but I'm hoping that'll wear in. Obviously it's a 600mm long tube, so 2 foot, and with the shaft, if anything's tiny, slightly out of whack, then it will bind, and I'm hoping that'll just wear in on the bearing itself and be okay. It's glued in now, so there's no option. Anyway, I think it's going to be great, hopefully. Okay, so when I made the engine beds for the engine, I allowed a safety margin for the engine height and aligning with the shaft. I didn't want to make them too high and have to cut them down to fit the actual mounts. These are the flexible mounts for the engine. But what I need to do now is pack the engine bed up 10mm. I thought about doing it in wood again, but then I think it'll crack. I don't think the shims will actually hold. So I've got some very large stainless flat bar here, 10mm. I'm going to attempt to drill holes, 2 holes in each, to work as shims, although I must tell everyone here that drilling steel is my least favourite part of boat building, most likely. My least favourite thing in the world. I hate drilling steel, and that is because I suck at it. But I'm going to try really hard to go slow, keep it lubricated, and drill through this stainless, but I suspect it's going to be a big mission. But I'm going to give it my best.
Got through one yet?
Yeah, I got one done on the hand drill. I've only broken 1 drill bit, so it's not bad.
Success. Yeah.
10mm. I think I'm going to try one size down, like step up again. I think I'm just jumping too.
Yeah, the more steps the better, hey?
I was considering just the step drill bit, but
Yeah, I mean, you have to. Yeah.
welcome back to another morning that is a little bit chilly. It's getting colder as the days go by. Yesterday I had a mild amount of success with the packers for the engine feet. So that was the 10mm stainless steel that I needed to bring the engine up enough to align the shaft properly. And as I said before, drilling steel, particularly stainless, is not my forte, and it's not something I enjoy, and that's due to lack of confidence and experience. But I did it. There were 13mm holes I had to drill, and the trick, I guess, was to keep my drill bits sharp, regularly sharpen my drill bits, go slow, lubricate, and really work up the drill bits. Like, take your time and go 4 times with 4 different sizes. So they're all in, and I'll give you a little look downstairs on how they're fitting there with the engine. my plan for today is to actually get the engine sort of, well, get it aligned and get the bolts into the engine beds so that it won't move anymore. That's the next plan. But first I have to get it aligned, which is a little bit tricky. I might need some feeler gauges to get the two couplings perfectly in place. Yeah, so we'll see. I'll give you a little look downstairs and go from there. Okay, so here is the coupling, and that has the Vesconite Hi-lube Cutlass bearing for the shaft. It goes onto the coupling of the shaft, and then to the engine there's a flexible piece that goes in between these two, but to get it aligned I need the two together. Over here you can see my packers, so I've just brought the engine up 10mm with the stainless. So that's the packers there with the holes bored, and I just need to get the engine aligned. You can see here that it is not aligned, it is actually out, so I need to wiggle the engine around a little bit to get all this in place. The beauty is that the shaft spins freely, which I'm very happy about. So yeah, time to get this big red baby down.
Don't choke, Ducky.
I think the camera's fogging up because it's so cold. Here we are down below. I need to remove the stairs to get to this engine. That's the first task of the day. Okay, I think I've got the engine loosely aligned. I'll show you the two couplings. They're meeting now nicely. I'm not sure what to do next. I want to get these feet secured, but I don't want the engine to move anymore. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have a look. Alrighty folks, the engine is bedded down, or bolted down I should say. It was a bit of a mission to really get in and sort of get them down, but the thing is they're studs, so if I ever have to lift the engine up it's really easy, but I'm using lag screws to screw it down, and then you use a nut on top of that to really cinch it in. I'm not sure what my next plan is. I think I need to double check my coupling alignment. That's really hard to film unfortunately, so I'm going to use a feeler gauge between the two couplings and just feel around it and make sure it's sort of in line. And then I'm not sure what's next. I had to remove a few items from the engine itself, so I'll put all that back on. But yeah, she's secure now. So I've still got a bit of movement in the feet itself, so if I need to adjust, I can still adjust. I drilled a slightly larger hole there, so I can wheel the engine for fine tuning now. Cool.